Like if I can get something very similar for a cheaper price, I am in it. What's going on, Slay Bays? It's your girl Ashley and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm gonna be doing a full face of dupes. I've been wanting to film a video like this for a hot minute. I'm gonna do one side high-end and the other side drugstore, like more affordable makeup. I'm gonna split it right down the middle and show you guys a side-by-side comparison of the two. I really love filming these videos because I really want to get across that you don't have to spend a lot of money to look good. You can find very affordable products for an affordable price point and still look like $1 million bucks, if you get me. So if you guys like these kind of videos, let me know down below in the comments. Also, don't forget to give this video a big like, subscribe to my channel, click that bell, y'all already know. And with that, I have a lot of products to get through, so let's go ahead and get right into the video. So I zoomed you guys in just so that way you guys can get a clear view of my face, of this mug, like all the blemishes. Like honestly, my blemishes are clearing up and I have to give big thanks to my chemical peel. I have another one scheduled in the upcoming week, so I am doing a lot of pre-filming for you guys, so that way I don't miss any uploads, because last time I missed some uploads and I felt really bad about it. But I will have all the info as to where I go, what I get, all that down below in case any of you guys are interested in a chemical peel. But I'm gonna go ahead and jump into it. Left side's gonna be affordable, right side's gonna be high end, and we're gonna start working on the brows. I will be using the Wet n Wild retractable brow pencil in the shade dark brown. I really like this. I feel like it is a very good comparison to the ABH brow definer, which I will be using on the right side. I am using dark brown. Whew, said that a little weird. I'm using dark brown. I've been trying to stray away from like medium, very warm browns, but this is all I have in my collection. So what I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna underline my brow very lightly, flip it over and use the spoolie side of the product to really buff and blend out the lines. So I went ahead and just blended out that product. As you can see, it is a very light fill. I'm not trying to do my brows too dramatic. I've been doing them so dramatic recently and I'm just like, ugh, they're so freaking dark. Especially when I look back on my videos, I just kind of regret it all in that moment. So I'm trying to use a lighter hand. Again, for the high-end side, I will be using the ABH brow definer in the shade Ebony. These may be two completely different brow colors now that I think about it, because I have medium brown and ebony. Girl, let's hope I don't look crazy. So I definitely want to point out that I added like little fine hair like strokes with like a brow marker. I'm still testing out the two products to really determine whether or not they're dupes. So I'm not going to show them on camera, but I just wanted you guys to know that I'm testing out some more dupes for you. So be on the lookout for another kind of like comparison video very soon, because I have so many others that I am trying to dupe for you. I'm now going to go in with some concealer. I'm going to use the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer in the shade Medium 1 Custard. And I'm just going to use this to clean up my brows on both sides. Let's move on to eyeshadow palettes. Now, I'm actually really excited because I did find a spot on dupe for the ABH Sultry palette, and this was probably the most requested palette that I used in a side-by-side comparison, and in fact, it was probably the only palette that I would get an identical look using. So for the affordable side, I will be using the Alter Ego Temptress palette. This is literally like one of those spot on dupes and or copy replica palettes. As you can see, it is almost identical to the Sultry palette. Right next to each other, you can't even really tell the difference. The first shade I'm going to go in with is called Lace from the Alter Ego palette, and I'm just going to rock that back and forth in my crease to act as my transitional shade. And for the ABH side, I will be picking up this shade right here, which is called Fresh. I also want you guys to take notice that I am using completely different brushes when doing the high-end side, because I don't really want to cross the products and mix them together, because I really want you guys to get a clear view of how these shadows apply, and I don't want to mix it in with the affordable or high-end side. So I am using the same brush, but they are clean brushes. I do have multiples of a lot of my brushes because I love them so much. Cute. So I have a nice thin layer of that shadow in the crease. I'm now going to go ahead and build up some intensity, some warmth, and I'm going to pick up the shade called Lust from the Alter Ego palette. Ooh, you guys, this has beautiful pigmentation to it. Do you guys see that? That is a really beautiful soft brown. And I'm also going to tap it right here in the outer V. From the ABH Sultry palette, I'm going to pick up this shade right here called Birch, and I'm going to put it in my crease as well. Honestly, I have no idea what look I want to create. I definitely want to do more of like a smoky eye, like something really sultry and sexy, if you will, because I don't really do that often on my channel. So I want to kind of switch things up. By the way, I just want to address the fact that there's a lot of people saying that a lot of my looks look the same. And while I totally respect your opinions, I have to really disagree with you. I feel like a lot of my videos recently have been very colorful. I did the ABH Riviera palette first impressions. I did the LA Girl palette with the teal look. I also did the e.l.f. XJ Kissa palette. I used a really pretty pink palette in my I Heart Revolution $5 and under video. And I also did like the BH Festival palette. I also created that green smoky eye using the brand new Wet n Wild Crystal Cavern collection. So I want you guys to know that I'm trying my best to create different looks, like a variety of different looks. It just gets very difficult when the average person wants to see very neutral looks as opposed to color. I feel like a lot of people will gravitate more towards neutrals than colors any day of the week. So I'm trying to find a balance between the two, and I hope you guys could bear with me and just respect that in the comments. Ooh, I am definitely feeling the ABH side a little bit better. Like maybe it's just like my blending stroke with this side because I'm loving the way like the brown is placed in the crease as opposed to just like this side. Is it me? It's probably just me. But I'm going to continue kind of building it up and just smoking it out a little bit more. The next shade I'm going to take from the Alter Ego palette is called Whisper right here. It definitely is more like a gray, and I'm definitely going to cool this look down with the shade, but I don't want to create more of a warm tone look, so that's why I'm going to go in with a little bit of this. And I am using an M433, but you can use whatever color you want. And ooh, that is pigmented, girl. Yes, we needed that. We need good pigment. Like I love how that blended out. Like it is so seamless. And I love how that like warm tone brown is kind of like peeking out of the gray. Like it just adds nice dimension to it. So for the ABH side, I will be taking the shade called Slate, which is the dupe in the palette. And I'm gonna put that in the outer V just like I did with the Alter Ego palette. So with the Alter Ego palette, I definitely want to use a shade called Sterling. Like I want to use a shade all over my lid. So I'm going to start with that. I'm not going to cut my crease or anything like that because let me just say, you guys like raise hell in the comments whenever I cut my crease. And it's just a preference thing. Don't think that anytime I cut my crease that you guys have to cut the crease as well. It's just something I personally like to do if I want like a very crisp, clean look. I am going to spritz the brush with a little bit of setting mist, and this one is the Dewy Set by Anastasia. Works the same, just like Fix Plus, so don't feel like you need to go out and buy Fix Plus if you already have that. So I'm just pressing this onto my lid. Ooh, yes, boo. Cool tone looks. Who is she? We don't know her. I'm now gonna go right back into the shade called Whisper, and I'm gonna put that right there in the very outer V just to kind of build it up a little bit more. I really wanna deepen up this outer edge here. Like this is one of those palettes that if you're not into like the oranges or the burnt siennas or anything like that, this is a really beautiful like neutral tone palette. So definitely check it out if you guys have been wanting to try the sultry palette but don't really want to spend the coin on it. Like I get it. Everybody wants to save money. I'm right there with you. Like if I can get something very similar for a cheaper price, I am in it. With the ABH Sultry palette, I'm gonna go in with the shade right here called Cyberg, however you pronounce that. Don't judge me, okay? I've never seen that word in my life. I'm gonna spritz the brush with a little bit of the Dewy Set and pop this onto my lid as well. Then I'm going to go back into the shade right here called Slate and put it in my crease to blend the colors together. I definitely want to add a little bit more smoke to the look. So I'm going to go in with the Temptress palette and I'm going to pick up this shade right here called Stiletto. And I'm going to put it in my very like outer V area, kind of mimicking liner. And I'm going to use the ABH 813. So I'm just going to kind of pick up some of the shadow and really just tap it right here towards the base of the lash line. Just like that. And I'm starting off with a little bit at a time because I don't want to go too crazy all at once. And I'm putting it more at like a slant. Then with an M507, I'm just going to lightly start smoking out the black and blending it right into that dark gray, just for a very subtle gradient effect. From the ABH Sultry palette, I'm going to take the shade called Noir, and I'm going to do the exact same thing to mimic what I did on the affordable side. I'm gonna put the eyeshadow palettes to the side and we're gonna start working on the skin. Anytime I do like just my eyeshadow and not my base, I feel like things look very, very funky up until like I'm done. So for primer today, I do have 2 primer dupes. I have the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer, which I will be using on the affordable side. And then on the high-end side, I have the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer. As I stated in my last video, these are spot-on dupes for each other. The only thing you're not getting with the e.l.f. Primer is all of the added skincare benefits and things like that. Whereas the one from Tatcha, you are definitely getting a multi-use product that is essentially going to prime your skin and also, you know, give you a little bit of skincare up in there. So I'm going to use the e.l.f. one. Granted, it is out of stock. I hope it comes back in stock very, very soon. I'm really going to focus the primer right here in this area, like right where my nose is, because I feel like I do have rather large pores right in this area here. So I'm just going to push it into the skin and then just kind of blend it outwards. And I'm also going to take a little bit right up on my nose. For the high-end side, I will be using the one from Tatcha. Again, super up there in price point, but I can always justify spending money on a product that has added skincare to it. So I feel like that's why Tatcha really jacked up the price on this one. So I'm just putting it in the same area just to fill in those pores and smooth out this area. For foundation, I feel like I have a pretty good dupe. So for the high-end side, I will be using the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. I have 2 different shades here. I have vanilla and warm nude to mix to get like my perfect shade. And then for the affordable side, I have the Maybelline Superstay foundation. You guys, these are very, very similar to each other. I have no idea if the shades I have for each side are going to match. Let's hope like you can't see like a clear line of demarcation. I just hope that's not the case because I have to go to dinner after this. But you know what? I'm doing it for you guys. Like, I'm gonna look like a fool if they don't match. I'm gonna start with the affordable side and then I'll do the Too Faced side right next to it. So that way you guys could see that there is really no clear difference. I just wanted to show you guys an up close view of the formula. Now this one right here is the Too Faced Born This Way formula. As you can see, it definitely is a little bit more runny, whereas the one from Maybelline is just a little bit thicker. But nonetheless, they cover the same, they look the same on the skin. So again, I am gonna start off with the affordable side. I'm going to pick up a little bit of that Maybelline foundation on a e.l.f. sponge. By the way, this e.l.f. sponge is bomb. If you guys haven't tried it, definitely try it. It is the one with the big like holes in it, kind of like pores. Ooh, this is looking a little dark, but we'll make it work. We'll just add a lot of concealer to lighten it up. But do you guys see the coverage on this Maybelline foundation? Like, girlfriend, they did not come to play with this foundation. Now, normally I will apply like some sort of color corrector, but the Pixie one that I use, I don't own the dupe for it. Like, the dupe is literally the Becca Under Eye Concealer, but again, I don't own that one, and I really don't feel like picking it up for the sake of this video because in my personal opinion, the Pixie one works just as good as that one, if not better. I'm now going to go in with the opposite side of the sponge and pick up that Too Faced Born This Way foundation. Okay, so if there's one thing I'm willing to point out and say about both of the foundations is that I definitely feel like the one from Too Faced, it goes on a lot wetter, as you can see, or as you saw, it was like very, very wet, but it dries down almost identical. Like, 2 foundations, where? Let's move on to concealer. The concealer I will be duping today is the Huda Beauty Overachiever Concealer. I've been using this behind the scenes and I really wanted to find a good dupe for it. And I would definitely say it is very much comparable to the JO Beauty Truly Yours Concealer. This is so inexpensive. I picked it up at CVS and honestly, I really, really like it. So I'm going to take a little bit of this and pop it on the affordable side, and then I'm going to go in with the Huda Beauty Overachiever Concealer on the high-end side. Okay, so this JOA Beauty Concealer is definitely brightening up this look, which I really need at this point because my face is looking very one-dimensional. So for my under eye powder, I will be using the COLLAB Set the Stage Soft Focus Translucent Finishing Powder. I did a dupe video not too long ago, like a full face of dupes, and I duped it to the Too Faced Born This Way powder. It literally is a spot on dupe for the Too Faced powder for like half the price point. So I'm gonna use this directly underneath my eyes, and I'm simply just going to take my sponge and press it to set the concealer in place. Now, one thing I'm not gonna do is I'm not gonna take the powder all the way out like on the highest point of my cheekbone. I'm really just gonna set it right here in this area where it would naturally crease, because I will be going in with more of a cream highlight and I don't want to lay cream over top of powders, if you get me. You guys have no idea how excited I am to dupe this highlighter. I will be duping the Stila Heaven's Hue highlighter in the shade Kitten. I was so obsessed with this putty highlighter when it came out. It just got pushed in the back of my makeup drawer and I really just don't reach for it often. So the dupe I found for this highlighter is this one right here by Koki. This is their brand new soft glow highlighter, you guys. Literally the same putty consistency. Like, I was in shock when I swatched both of them next to each other. So I'm going to start off with the high end side, and I like to apply this putty highlighter more with my fingers because I feel like it just melts into the skin. And I don't know if you guys took notice, but I didn't set my cheeks down with powder because I personally believe that this like putty highlighter goes over top of foundation beautifully if it's not set down with powder, because it is kind of like a cream formula. But do you guys just see how stunning this is? You really have to work it and buff and blend it out for more of like a seamless blend. It's like gorgeous. And with clean fingers, I'm gonna pick up a little bit of the one from Koki and do the exact same thing. Now that I have my cream highlighter on, I could definitely go in and start setting down other areas of my face. So for the affordable side, I'm going to be using the NYX Stay Matte But Not Flat powder. Love this powder so much. You get a little sponge underneath, so it's perfect for on-the-go touch-ups. And the powder I'm duping it with is the MAC Studio Fix powder. I love this powder so much. It is an OG throwback for me. However, it is a little bit pricey, so I definitely wanted to find an alternative. And the NYX one gives me the same amount of coverage for more of an affordable price. So I'm going to take a big brush like this and take some of that powder from the NYX Compact and just kind of set down the areas that I want to be a little bit more mattified before I go in with my powder. And for the high-end side, I'm just going to take a big fluffy brush and then just go in and again set this area. Sorry if I'm being like a little bit repetitive with my steps. I just have to show you guys both sides as opposed to one, since I'm using two completely different products on each side of my face. Let's go ahead and move on to bronzer. Now, this is a bronzer dupe that I've talked about in the past, but I really wanted to re-mention it because I don't really have any other new bronzer dupes to share with you. So for the high-end side, I will be using the Benefit Hoola bronzer. As you can see, love this bronzer so much. I definitely put a dent in it. And for the affordable side, I will be using the COLLAB Sun Obsession Sculpting Bronzer in the shade Major. Now, this is being discontinued in Sally Beauty stores, but if you're lucky, you can definitely find it on the clearance racks. So I definitely recommend going into the store and seeing if you can find this. It's gonna run you about $7.50, which is such an amazing deal. I'm gonna take a brush and just start bronzing up the skin. This right here is a MAC 135, but I also have one from Morphe that is very similar. I will have it listed down below. My blush dupe is a dupe that I am so incredibly excited about. So for the high-end side, I will be using the Anastasia Peachy Love Trio. As you can see, it has such beautiful colors in here, but what I love most about it is that you can kind of custom create your own cocktail and mix a bunch of the shades together to get more of like a corally, peachy blush vibe, if you will. And for the affordable side, I'm going to use the LA Girl Island Hottie palette. As you can see, very similar to the Anastasia one, like right next to each other. Granted, they're not identical, but they still give you the same exact take color story and color effect. So I'm going to take this brush, which actually is my all-time favorite blush brush. You guys always ask me what this brush is, and it is the Smashbox Sheer Powder. So I'm just going to run the brush right along all of the shades. This is how I like to do it, and I'll just kind of pop it onto my cheeks for an added wash of color. I'm going to do the same exact thing to the ABH side. The only real difference between the two is that the ABH blushes are all matte, whereas the ones from the LA Girl palette, they do have 2 shimmers in it. I honestly like the shimmers because anytime I'm going in with blush, I do like more of like a very glowy, luminous cheek. So take your pick. But let me tell you, they're going to look the same. I'm not going to use a high-end eyeliner because I don't have a dupe for it. So I'm just going to use an affordable one on both sides. Hopefully you guys don't mind. I'm going to use the COLLAB Bold Face Liner in the shade Drama Queen. You guys, this is my favorite, like all-time favorite black eyeliner for the waterline because it doesn't smudge, it doesn't budge, and it gives you enough playtime to really just place it and smudge and smoke it out, which is something I really like. So again, check it out, Sally Beauty. You don't want to sleep on this. The eyes are pretty much done. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop on some false lashes and then we'll come back. Let's move on to mascara. For the affordable side, I will be using the Maybelline Lash Discovery Mini Brush Mascara, and I'm going to use this on my top and bottom lashes. But for the top lashes, I'm not going to coat this all the way through my lashes. So I like to just take the mascara and just coat it right at the base of the lash, just like that. And this is really just blending my real lashes in with the falsies. And for the high-end side, I will be using the MAC Extended Play Gigablack Lash Mascara. I don't know about you, but I definitely need a good pop in my inner corner. So for the affordable side, I'm gonna go in with the shade called Seduction on a pencil brush, and I'm just gonna pop it right in here because it needs it. Definitely needs it. Okay. All right. And for the high-end side, I'm going to take Pearl and do the exact same thing. Now, I know the eyes are pretty smoky and dramatic, so I don't want to go in with an actual color. Instead, I'm going to go in with gloss. I did feature this gloss in my last new affordable dupes video, so I wanted to demonstrate how they look side by side. So for the affordable side, I'm going to use the ColourPop Ultra Glossy Lip in the shade Snow Day. And then for the high-end side, I'm going to use this by Smashbox. It was made in collaboration with the Hood Witch, and it is in the shade Practical Magic. For my brow gel, I am going to use this one by ColourPop, which is the Brow Boss Gel. Now, I normally wait until the very end to put in my brow gel because otherwise, like the powders will kind of mix in with the brow gel and then they start to look ashy and crusty, and girl, that is not the vibe. So I'm just going to coat this through. I did mention this in my last dupes video, and I did dupe it to the Glossier Boy Brow Gel, and let me just say, they are literally spot on dupes for each other. If you guys are looking for a good dupe for the Glossier one, definitely try out the one from ColourPop. So for the high-end side, I will be using the one from Glossier. These literally have the same wand. They have the same formula. Like, I will say the ColourPop one is just slightly thicker in formula when you have it sitting for a little bit, and the Glossier one isn't half as thick, but girl, you get the same exact effect, and I'm not even faking the funk. To seal the deal, I'm going to use the Urban Decay All Nighter Makeup Setting Spray, and I'm just going to spray my face and set it all down and in place. Because girl, I am going to dinner. I don't think they're going to be able to tell the difference, so when I get back from dinner, I'm going to come back and show you guys how both sides held up throughout the night. And just like that, Slay Baes, this right here is the final and completed look. What do you think? Let me know down below in the comments. Let me just say, let me get this out there, like, I wore this makeup on my face for several hours. We took my mother-in-law out to dinner for Mother's Day, and she couldn't even tell that I had 2 completely different eyeshadow palettes on my eyeballs. She couldn't even tell I had 2 different foundations on, and if that doesn't speak volumes, I don't know what does. Like, that's definitely a win-win and another win for me. So definitely check out the description box down below for all of the affordable product dupes that I mentioned within this video, because they're definitely worth testing out in my personal opinion. With that, I definitely want to do my post notification shout out of the week. You guys already know. And I want to give a huge shout out to Lene Navarez. She says, so down to earth. You get across your points so well. Love you and your channel. I love you too. So refreshing, and the dupes are my favorite too. Hashtag Slaybays. I'm so glad you love my dupes video. I do intend on doing more videos just like this one and just like my other one. So if you are here for that, definitely give the video a big ol' like. And since you are my post notification shout out of the week, that essentially means you're gonna be winning a mystery makeup box from me filled with random products, new products, just a bunch of different products that I know you're really gonna love. So leave me a comment down below. Actually respond to my comment to you down below in the description, and I will talk to you very, very soon. As for the rest of you, if you want to be my post notification shout out next week, all you have to do is click that bell and leave me a comment down below with the hashtag Slaybays. Also, while you're at it, if you like the video, make sure you give it a big ol' like. I've been doing a lot of this. Follow me over on the gram, all that jazz. Keep up with me on social when I'm not on YouTube because it's always a fun time. And until next time, I'll be sure to catch you guys all on the next one. Deuces.